I think my father, I think he thought I was disloyal because after his friend, who was actually a secret agent and a rival who turned unfriendly against him, after that man molested me when I was a toddler, my father expected me to go running back to him to be rescued. But my father hadn't fed me well enough. See, we were starving from the vegetarian diet, and my mother had abandoned us together. So at least my father would have had to provide food enough for my neurotransmitters and my brain development to be able to remember what I was supposed to know about him and what I was supposed to remember to be loyal to him. And I think maybe the other guy had struck my face to tell me to shut up after he had molested me. And I was probably a toddler, and I was probably shitting and bleeding and shitting out some blood because my father had fooled him. And the Jew thought my father had been having sex with me, and he was a nose job Jew who looked white, who had a nose job, a secret agent of the monarchy regimes. And so my father had been molesting me with his thumb, and it wasn't. I was had always starved, and I would apparently, this is what they're suggesting, that I would always cry after being molested, not during, but after, because of the shit, the mess, and the return to reality after the effects of elation from being molested. After the pleasure was over, I'd return to reality, and I'd be shitting, and there'd be a mess, and I'd feel uncomfortable and hurt, somewhat, a little bit hurt, and so then I would start crying. So then my father thought that I was going to go running back to him, but he was starving us. And we didn't have enough to eat, so I couldn't save the memories of the fact that I needed to be loyal to my father. The time that my father and I had spent together, my father remembered, but I didn't. I only remembered a very short window of time. So, because of not having enough protein for the neurotransmitters for the brain development, and plus my father didn't have a woman. The other guy had a woman, a fertile woman, and probably had a stash of food to eat also. And so my father was maybe emotionally upset, but he was delusional from years of starving himself before that. So my father never understood that event, I guess, that I was too starved to remember the time that my father and I spent together. And he didn't apparently have enough sources of food because everyone was starving my father, because my father said, we all have to be vegetarian. I don't know exactly why he was clinging to that. To make the men who were rapists go away, they wouldn't get enough to eat, so they would have to leave eventually because they couldn't get enough food to eat. So there was a lot of rapists who were besieging the community and demanding appeasement. They could just beat up the weak hippie men who were college graduates and demand appeasement from the women. And there were two types of rapists. There were Jewish men who were rapists, and then there was Christian locals who would be colloquially described as rednecks. Christians who would claim Native American heritage, big, rugged, colloquial. What the hell is that word? Forget that word. It's too difficult even to say it. Known as rednecks. Rednecks and who were mixed race and gigantic Jewish rapists. And so they would go out and eat meat and come back and have sex with the hippies' wives and daughters and sons sometimes, at least their wives. And the hippies were like, well, we'll just have to wait them out and just keep on eating soy. And they can't stay forever because they can't get any meat to eat, and they want to go out and get some meat. It was a very foolish idea because my father was starving all of us and starving himself too. So that's where the story, I think, this is what I'm getting clues about it. A lot of clues over the years that painted this sort of a scene on the canvas of my mind, that my father thought I was disloyal because he wasn't feeding me enough. If he fed me enough, then I could have been loyal, but I couldn't even remember that I should be loyal because, see, my father had probably said, shut up, stop crying. And so I blamed myself after I started crying, and then the Jew terrorist hit me in the face and probably crushed my cheekbone inward. And he hit me in the face, I think, and then I was ashamed that I'd started a fight between the men by my crying, and my father had told me, don't cry, stop crying. But I didn't know. At that point, I was supposed to be crying and running to my father. But I was ashamed that there was going to be a fight that was started because of my crying. And my father had probably told me many times, stop crying. And plus, I was starved. And plus, the other guy had a woman. And so my father, that decision to stop eating, not only to stop eating chicken, he wouldn't even eat chicken. Not only that, he wouldn't even eat cheese. He wouldn't eat cheese pizza. He wouldn't eat chicken. He wouldn't eat any meat at all. And he was killing himself, and he was starving me to I couldn't even remember. And I didn't know what to do. And then he says, oh, my boy's not loyal. Oh. Then he felt like a loser. He was starving himself. He was starving himself, and it was ruining everything. And that's the sad story of the vegetarian hippies and the Jewish rapists and the redneck meat-eating rednecks and meat-eating Jewish rapists taking advantage of the starving hippie family. And it was terrible. It was terrible times. Lucky I couldn't remember it.